हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगे श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। जयतां सुरतौर्पङ्गमम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्भोजौ राधा मदन मोहन दिव्याद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादौ श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधाशील गोविन्द देवौ प्रेष्ठालिभिसेव्यमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमन् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथस्त्रियस्तु नः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। सचिनंदन गौरांग महाप्रभु की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Thank you, dear devotees, for very kindly once again joining in this discussion of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Madhya Leela, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is absorbed in cleaning of the Gundicha temple. And as we explained yesterday, as Mahaprabhu's cleaning, they are not just cleaning, but there's also cleaning of the heart that's taking place. There is vigorous Chetodharpana Marjanam that's happening through the pastime of Gundicha Marjan. So that's where we ended our discussion. But just like we have started our discussions, previous discussions with a verse glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from different scriptures. So let us continue on that same theme of glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a verse from the scriptures that are presented. This is again a very beautiful verse. This is again a Tripadi. Yesterday also we discussed the Tripadi. Hmm. So this is again a Tripadi that glorifies Gauranga Mahaprabhu's advent and who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. So the reason we are discussing these verses are it sets a good tone to start our discussion, while at the same time these verses should be memorized and offered to the Lord. Then the then the effort of joining the call and being on the call is fructified through these verses. If we can memorize them and offer it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because that's the only thing we can give Gauranga Mahaprabhu, right? What else can we do? What else can we give? So these verses composed by his own pure devotees, if we can memorize them and offer it back to him, then that is some basic offering to start off with to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us chant. गौर हरि अवतारी प्रेमेर अवतार करी साधिल मनेर तीन काज राधिकार प्राणपति किव भावे कांदनीति इह भुजे बकत समाज. Again a Tripadi as we said. So last three discussions we have had almost a Tripadi. Here very beautifully Acharyas say. Actually in the previous discussions we spoke about yesterday we spoke about Shri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Rati Mati Bhave Praja. प्रेम कल्प तरु बरदाता श्री व्रज राज नंदन राधिका जीवन धन अपरूप एई सब कथा. This was yesterday. Hmm? Before that, we also spoke about यस्यैव पादाम्बुज भक्ति लाभ्य प्रेमाभिधान परम पुमार्थ तस्मै जगन्मंगल मंगलाय श्री चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते. Yesterday, then day before yesterday, we spoke about नवद्वीप अवतारी राधा भाव अंगीकारी भाव कांति अंगेर भूषण तीन वांछा अभिलाषी शची गर्भे प्रकाशी संगेलाए पार्षद गण. So these are the verses that we have discussed till now. And today we are on to this verse. गौर हरि अवतारी प्रेमेर अवधर करी साधिला मनेरा तीन काज राधिकार प्राणपते किव भावे कांद नीति इह भुजे भकत समाज. गौर हरि अवतारी. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Avatari Gaurahari, which means he is. The verse number is 14. This is verse 14 of. Uh, okay, it just says verse 14. I'm not sure which scripture it comes from. It just says verse 14. Oh, Chaitanya Bhagavat. Mm, yeah, I think Chaitanya Bhagavat. So if you just go online and type Gaura Hari Avatari Premera Vadara Kari, then the verse will pop up. So Gaura Hari Avatari. He is the Supreme Lord Krishna himself, but what is his complexion? Gaurahari. He is molten gold in complexion. But why is he coming down? Premera Vadara Kari. He is coming to distribute. He is coming to distribute prem, love of Godhead to everyone. Whether the person wants it, whether the person is qualified, he is coming to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Premera Vadara Kari. Sadhila Manera Tina Kaja. And by doing this, he has fulfilled the three wishes, the three desires that he had in his mind. Gauranga Mahaprabhu comes down to this world because three unfulfilled desires in Krishna Lila. The Supreme Lord Krishna has three unfulfilled desires, and those three unfulfilled desires get fulfilled in Gaur Lila, pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Gaura Hari Avatari Premera Vadara Kari is coming down to give prem freely. That prem that Krishna held with himself was not very freely distributing. Krishna has his reservations for everyone. But that Krishna, now as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is freely distributing that prem to anyone and everyone. That is the glory of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. If Krishna's standard has to be applied, we may probably not even fit to the discussion. We are not even qualified to be in the discussion. But because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence is there, there is some hope for all of us. Sadhila Manera Tina Kaja. He came to fulfill his three desires. Radhikara Pranapati Kiba Bhave Kanda Niti. Iha Bhuje Bhakata Samaja. Bhakata Sama Iha Bhuje Bhakata Samaja. The Bhakta Samaja, which means the congregation of devotees, the assembly of devotees, they were able to understand. What were they able what were they able to understand? Well, they were able to understand that Krishna has now come down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden in color, and he is Radhikara Pranapati. He is the life and soul of Srimati Radharani. Yesterday, the word used was Radhika Jivanadhana, and today the word used is Radhikara Pranapati. He is the life and soul of Srimati Radharani. And as he is the life and soul of Srimati Radharani, and as he is rolling and crying, thinking about Srimati Radharani, as in the Gambhira, later we will see he is smashing his head against the wall, completely transcendental eccentric. It's only the devotees who could understand that it is our Krishna who's now in this mood, and it is our Krishna who's crying in separation from Krishna in the mood of Radharani. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani, crying for Krishna. So Iha Bhuja Bhakata Samaja. Only the devotees are able to understand this. So again, a very beautiful verse that we can memorize. Gaura Hari Avatari Preme Ravadara Kari साधिला मनेरा तीन काज राधिकार प्राणपती किव भावे कांदनिधी इह भुजे भकत समाज हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय so in this way we have discussed couple of verses in the past few classes, dear devotees. Let us make use of them by noting it down, by searching them online. If it can be posted in a group also, I can send a photo of the verses. Um, if anyone has Gorgovind Maharaj's Mathura Meets Vrindavan, that book, so these verses are there in the Mangala Charan of Mathura Meets Vrindavan. Very beautiful book of Gorgovind Maharaj. But nonetheless, I will again post so devotees can memorize these verses and offer it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because if you memorize the verse and if you offer it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I will also get the benefit because these verses are discussed in this setting. So little benefit that you memorize and you offer it to Gaurang Mahaprabhu, little benefit I will also get. So that's why I'm little greedy and encouraging devotees to memorize these verses um, to offer it to Gauranga. So let us continue, dear devotees. Yesterday we were speaking about the Gundicha Margin temple, the cleaning pastime. So we'll continue from that point. An intelligent and simple Bengali Vaishnav poured water on the Lord's lotus feet and then drank that water. Although the Lord was satisfied with him, he became angry externally. To establish devotee etiquette inside the temple, he told Swarup Damodar, see the behavior of the Gaudiya Vaishnav. He has greatly implicated me. Swarup Damodar then caught by the neck and ejected him from the Gaudiya temple, from the Gundicha temple. Then he requested Lord Chaitanya to excuse that innocent person. Even though one plays the part of a guru, one should not accept obeisances or permit a disciple to wash one's lotus feet in front of the deity. That is why we don't offer obeisances in front of the deity to someone else. In front of the deity, many things should not be done. No offering obeisances, no washing the feet even of superior, no clicking selfies in front of the Lord. Many times in the temple, we find people come and they turn and they click selfies or whatever. Uh, None of these things. We don't in front of the Lord. We don't do this. Even when a spiritually elevated person comes, do we go in front of them and click a selfie with them? We don't. Right? We respect. We may click a photo with them, but we don't go and click a selfie. So, in in contrast, even for the Supreme Lord, we don't click selfies. We don't even click photos with the Lord. When the Lord is present, it's just Him. No clicking of the photos. Even devotees should not click themselves. Sometimes two, three devotees come together, put hand in hand, and they click a photo in front of the deity. That should also not be done because He is the center. He should be given prominence. These photo sessions can be done outside, but not inside the temple, not in front of the deity. And likewise, it is said when we go to the temple, um, dark colors should be avoided, like clothing. Dark color should be avoided because um, the lighter colors are more sattvic. Dark colors like red or whatever it is, like something that's too jazzy for the eyes. should be kind of avoided because uh, the primary mood and agenda is the Lord is the center. His dressing should be the center. But when we wear flashy, opulent attire to the extent where the eyes of the people, it catches the eyes, the attention of the people. Instead of seeing the deities, if people start looking at us, प्रभु जी आपका कपड़ा बहुत सुंदर है, बहुत अच्छा है, and we said नहीं नहीं प्रभु जी अरे, actually we have lost the battle for the sense that when we go to the temple, the devotees or the Lord's attire should be the center, not our dressing, not our clothing. But if our clothing is catching a lot of attention of the people, then it's not very correct. And dark colors generally catch a lot of attention. So that's why it said in temple, darker colors, like something that's really dark, should be avoided. Simple, light colors is more convenient. Outside, of course, whatever we want to wear, we can. But lighter colors are more beneficial because in the temple, we are not the center, he is the center. So, in that way. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching some etiquettes to this Bengali devotee who offered or who poured water on the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu loved it. But externally, to, to showcase some etiquette, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches. Likewise, when a class is going on in a temple or anywhere, when a class is going on, we don't put our hand in the bead bag and start chanting. This is not Mahaprabhu's principle. जब क्लास चल रहा है पीछे बैठ के माला प्रभु जी हम माला करेंगे माला हुआ नहीं तो यदि हम केवल माला करें या केवल कथा सुने either we just chant or we just hear class. We don't multitask. There are many things that we can multitask, but not here because Mahaprabhu never did this and Mahaprabhu has never taught like this. The hearing is there so that our chanting can go deeper. And we are not probably in the level where we can concentrate on our chanting and concentrate on our hearing also. That is point number one. Second, when we are chanting and we are sitting in a class, either the attention is there in Nam or the attention is there in Leela Katha. If the attention is there only in one thing, if there is attention only in chanting, for example, then we are disrespecting Katha. We are disrespecting Leela Katha. And if the hand is there in bead bag and we are hearing Katha, but here we are just doing something. Uh, it's not clear chanting, but some mala chal rahi hai Prabhuji. Then it's disrespecting towards Harinam. So ideally we respect both. So we just do one, not multitask. The sad point is in Kali Yuga, we are so subjected to multitask and we are appreciated for multitasking so much that we try to superimpose that in bhakti also. But in bhakti, that's not required. In English, there is a saying, one at a time, that done well. You do one thing at a time, but do it well. Don't multitask. Like, for example, when we are doing deity worship, we fully concentrate on deity worship. Which earring will go for the Lord, which clothing will go for the Lord, which turban will go for the Lord. There is full concentration there. Oh, this doesn't match, this color doesn't fit for this. So, likewise, when it is hearing of the class, it's just hearing of the class. We hear the class, we make notes, whatever. But no hearing of the class and chanting. We are not probably in the level of Haridas Thakur or any of those personalities where we can multitask. Even Haridas Thakur didn't do that. If you see the life of Haridas Thakur, even he didn't do that. His attention was also just in Nam. And both are important. Hearing of the classes are also important. Chanting is also important. In fact, Prahlad Maharaj, he puts Shravanam as first. And then he puts Kirtanam. He puts Shravanam and then he puts Kirtanam. And we see the general understanding of Kirtanam is um, uh, playing of the mridangas, harmonium, kartal. Now in ISKCON, flute, and so many other instruments have also come. So our understanding of Kirtanam is Nam Sankirtan, congregation chanting. Yes, that is one understanding. Nam Sankirtan, Nam Kirtan is one understanding. But at the same time, uh, Leela Katha, to speak and hear about the Lord, this is also Kirtan. This is Leela Kirtan. One is Nam Kirtan, one is Leela Kirtan. Both come under the category of Kirtan. In fact, Saraswati Thakur himself says this. If there is an article of Saraswati Thakur where he says, not just Nam Kirtan, even hearing and chanting about the hearing and speaking about the Lord. This is also coming under the category of Kirtan. So this is Leela Kirtan. One time, one disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur, he became an object of criticism, not criticism, but an object of stern remark. He became an object of stern remark of Srila Saraswati Thakur in the sense Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhardev Goswami Maharaj was in Delhi and he wrote to Saraswati Thakur that uh, there is one disciple of yours. So if you agree, I would require him here in the Delhi temple. There are a lot of services and we don't have much manpower. So if you instruct, can I have him here and can he help me for by preaching services and other services? And Srila Saraswati Thakur agreed. And when this devotee was reached out, he said, no, 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 my chanting is there, my mala is there. I have to sit down and I have to chant. So when Srila Saraswati Thakur got to know, Saraswati Thakur became very angry. Srila Saraswati Thakur, he said that preaching the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is also Kirtan. He said, our movement is not that we go into a forest and simply keep moving the beads. Our movement is, yes, we chant. Srila Saraswati Thakur would say, don't put your beads for fasting. You're already doing Nirjala Ekadashi, that is enough. But don't put your beads to fast, which means don't stop chanting. But at the same time, it's not that we only chant and we don't preach. Saraswati Thakur really chastised that disciple. He said, our moment is not this that you go inside the forest and just keep chanting. Haridas Thakur did that. But Mahaprabhu never expected that out of others. Our moment is to preach the message of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So then Saraswati Thakur, after chastising, that disciple was asked to come to Delhi temple, the Delhi Gaudiya Math, and eventually help Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj in his preaching. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj personally in a book, he writes his pastime and explains as to how Saraswati Thakur would be very, very happy and pleased when preaching would go on. In fact, that's what he told our Prabhupada also. When you get money, print books. Why print books? Because that helps in preaching. So it is pretty clear in our movement, in the preaching movement of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and the preaching movement of Srila Saraswati Thakur and our Prabhupada that Harinam is glorious. It is very important. It needs to be chanted. But at the same time, one should not restrain himself or herself from preaching. Everyone has a duty on their shoulders to preach. We cannot just rely on others. अरे बाकी लोग प्रचार करेंगे हम केवल नाम करेंगे ना हमें भी नाम करना है आगे चलकर हमें भी प्रचार करना है महाप्रभु का ये जो आंदोलन है कृष्ण भावनामृत ये जो संघ है ये आगे कैसे बढ़ेगा ये आगे तब बढ़ेगा जब हम प्रचार करेंगे है ना यदि पूरे जगत में देखे केवल इस्कॉन एक ऐसा संस्था है केवल एक इस्कॉन एक ऐसी संस्था है जो प्रचार के माध्यम से पूरे देश में नहीं पूरे जगत में फैल गया है आप कोई भी देश जाए पाश्चात्य देश कहीं भी जाए हर जगह एक इस्कॉन मंदिर तो मिलता ही है every place even places like Norway, Sweden, Croatia, so many places. How did it happen? Because someone preached. So when we go to these places, we see an ISKCON temple and we really like, अरे अपने लोग हैं, ISKCON मंदिर है. But we have to also understand that someone has preached to the extent where there is a temple here. So we have to also partake in the preaching movement. We cannot just reap the fruits. हम केवल फल नहीं खा सकते. We cannot just reap the fruits and go to other temples and stay in the temple and not do any help in Prabhupada's mission. We have to also help in preaching mission so that this movement spreads more. Appreciating Prabhupada is great. That, oh, Prabhupada did so much, Prabhupada preached so much. But Prabhupada will be more happy if we are assisting Prabhupada in his preaching movement. If we are going Nagaradigram, Priti Vidya Acha Jadi Nagaradigram, we are going every town, every village, every city, Every schools, colleges, universities, our friends, family members, wherever we are, if we are speaking about Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha. This is Mahaprabhu's instruction. We preach, preach, preach. Preach what? Preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Preach the glories of Harinam. Connecting devotees to the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. We may or may not be qualified. We may or may not be qualified, but doesn't mean we wait for the day when we become qualified to start preaching. कई बार लोग ऐसे भी बोलते हैं कि नहीं नहीं मेरे में तो क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं है मैं प्रचार नहीं करूंगा यदि सब ऐसे सोचने लगे तो मोमेंट आगे कैसे जाएगा if everyone waits for the day when they will become fully purified to start preaching then how will the movement even spread so wherever we are we start speaking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu we start glorifying Gauranga Mahaprabhu who knows some sincere soul will get connected to Mahaprabhu's mission it's possible that devote the people whom we come across in our daily life maybe they are looking out for something शायद उन्हें पता नहीं कि कैसे हमारे सामने बताए they don't know how to express it but probably they're looking out for something in their heart and if we become the instrument to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to them then we become the recipients of the mercy of Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada because Mahaprabhu will like that oh this devotee he's trying his level best Krishna clearly says in the Bhagavad Gita those who preach my message are very dear to me Krishna doesn't say oh first you have to become pure fully self-realized then you start preaching Krishna doesn't say that Krishna says those who preach are dear to me yes, those are fully self-realized when they preach, it has more potency. But not every living entity of this world will get connected to pure sadhus. But those people who come in our contact, it's like Krishna sending them to us. If we can at least try, if we can at least try to preach, the person may become interested or may not become interested. But if we at least try, Mahaprabhu will like us very much. But if we are only sitting at one place and chanting all day long, then what happens is we are trying to do good to ourselves, but we are not trying to do good to others. Mahaprabhu says, Janma sarthaka kari kara para upakar. We have to do good to ourselves also, and we have to do good to others also. And those who go out to help, they become the recipients of Gauranga Mahaprabhu faster than someone who is just sitting in a solitary place and doing their naam. So we preach. We try to preach as much as possible. And every single devotee on the call, and every single devotee who would hear this later, everyone has to make an effort. This is Mahaprabhu's preaching movement. This is Srila Prabhupada's preaching movement. We have we have to go all in to every city, every town, every village, and give everything that we have. All the energy, all the air that is there in our lungs, we have to give that to preach Gauranga Mahaprabhu's message. That is why the air is there in the lungs, so that we can use it for the Lord. He is giving us the energy, He is giving us the potential, and we have to use it in His service. Whether it is English language, whether it is Hindi language, whether it's Marathi, uh, whatever it is, Tamil, Telugu, uh, Gujarati, Kannada, Marwadi, Sindhi, whatever the language is, let us start preaching in that language. We, in our ISKCON movement, we have preachers in English, we have preachers in Hindi, we have very few preachers in Marathi, but now the number goes down in the regional languages. How many preachers do we have for Gujarati and Tamil and those languages? Very, very few. Very, very few. But are there listeners who would want to hear in these languages? Of course. But they are not getting the opportunity. Why? Because there is no one to present in that language. So we can be the personality who can take that baton and march in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission by preaching in that particular regional language. Likewise, preaching is not just for the male, it is meant for the female also. If we see in our ISKCON movement itself, there are so many male preachers we find, but how many female preachers do we find who are there in the forefront, ready to preach? Nitai Sevani Mataji is there up front, but how many others can we think of? Very, very few. So it is the duty of every man, woman, and child in our movement, whichever country we are coming from, to take Prabhupada's preaching movement very, very seriously and try our level best by going to schools, by going to universities, by presenting DYS, by presenting Bhagavad Gita, by speaking in the temples, speaking in congregations. Preaching is not just sitting on a Vyasasana and giving a class. That is one form of preaching. Mhm. But apart from that, also, when we are going in bus, we are going in train, we meet someone, we try to strike a conversation, we try to preach. Because हो सकता है ना कि वो जो व्यक्ति के साथ हम मिलते हैं ट्रेन में, शायद वो व्यक्ति कृष्ण भक्त को शायद पूरे जीवन में कभी नहीं मिलेगा. He will never again come across a devotee of the Lord or devotee of ISKCON ever again. It's possible. It's possible that we were the only devotee he came across and we never spoke anything in front of him. Imagine what a big loss. What a big loss. To us also, there was some devotee who preached, right? Some devotee preached to us, and that's why we are here wanting to hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanting to make some advancement. So now it's time. We have tasted the fruit. Now we have to also distribute that fruit. आमरस चख लिए है, अब आमरस को देना भी है बाहर. We have to now give it outside. This is Mahaprabhu's movement. Janma sarthaka kari kara para upakar. We should not be selfish and just hold it in our heart. We have to give it out to others. So let us be open-hearted, dear devotees. Let us be open-hearted. And let us give this message of Gauranga Mahaprabhu far and wide without holding back. Let everyone be happy. The only means of happiness is this path of Krishna consciousness. The world is suffering very badly, and no one has any idea how to get out of the suffering. And we, fortunately, the followers of Rup Goswami, followers of Srila Prabhupada, have some idea as to what this world is about and how to come out of the cycle of repentant birth and death and how to attain Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's loving service. So let us make sure we not just practice it, but we also give it out. And our preaching will be more powerful if our practice is powerful. If our practice is perfect, then what we speak will be more powerful. Preaching is the belching of our bhajan. Belching माने डकार लेना. हम जो खाते हैं वही डकार लेते हैं ना. उसी प्रकार आचार्यगण लिखते हैं, प्रचार भी उसी समान है. जिस प्रकार हम भजन करते हैं, जिस तीव्रता से भजन करते हैं, जिस प्रेम से भजन करते हैं, उसी का डकार प्रचार के तौर पर आता है. Which means if with full intensity we do our sadhana, then our preaching will come out with full intensity. It will have an impact. But if our sadhana is not strong, if sadhana is very weak, and then we try to preach, Mahaprabhu will like the effort, but results may not be there. यदि ठीक से पढ़ाई किए तब एग्जाम पास होंगे, लेकिन यदि सिर्फ एग्जाम पास होने के भाव से गए लेकिन पढ़ाई कुछ किए नहीं, तो फिर फेल ही हो जाएंगे, है ना. तो उसी प्रकार sadhana is like studying at home, and going out and preaching is the final exam. We can pass the final exam of preaching outside only when the sadhana of studying at home is powerful and excellent, when it is done with sincerity and lot of dedication and commitment. So let us take this seriously, dear devotees. This is the underlining factor and underlining theme in Mahaprabhu's Leelas. He preaches so much. His associates preach so much. Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rayanamaranda, Kashi Mishra, Murari Gupta, Lochan Das Thakur, Kaviraj Goswami, Vrindavan Das Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidya Bhushan, Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamanand Pandit, Hridayanand Pandit, hmm, Gauri Das Pandit, Hriday Chaitanya, Srila Saraswati Thakur, our Prabhupada, our Gurujan, they have all practically given their life and soul to preach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, not holding back even little. not holding back even little. Prabhupada gave up his family life to preach. He gave up his wife to preach. He gave up his children to preach. He gave up his business to preach. He gave up his ashram, his grahastha ashram to preach. His god brothers were not cooperating. Nothing was in favor of him. He gave up every luxury, every happiness to preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He did not even have a proper place to stay. When he left family life and he went to Vrindavan, there was no proper place to stay. He was just living in one of the temples. रहने के लिए और कोई सुविधा थी ही नहीं. कहाँ जाके रहे? It was eventually in the 1950s, end of 1950s, when Prabhupada took sannyas, he then moved to Radha Damodar Mandir. But before Radha Damodar Mandir, also Prabhupada lived in a small temple in Vrindavan, Satsvarup Maharaj writes, because there was no place to stay. Why will someone take so much effort to preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because preaching, dear devotees, gives happiness to the heart. When you share something with others, in sharing there is happiness. It is experiential. जब हम किसी के साथ कुछ बांटते हैं, उस बांटने में भी सुख प्राप्त होता है. हम ये नहीं सोचते कि अरे अरे मेरा कम हो गया, मैं नहीं दूंगा ना. When we share, naturally there is happiness. And preaching is like that. When the more we preach, the more happiness there is in the heart. The happiness of sharing Gauranga Mahaprabhu with others. So all our acharyas did that. हम संप्रदाय में मानो एक काला धब्बा बन के रह जाएंगे यदि हम प्रचार नहीं किए तो. हमें ऐसे नहीं बनना. हमें भी प्रचार करना है. श्वास भगवान ने दिया है. हम सब पढ़े लिखे हैं. सबके अच्छे अच्छे डिग्री है. शायद कुछ नौकरी भी करते होंगे, तो हम शास्त्र पढ़ सकते हैं. सब भारतीय देश से है. सब शास्त्र समझते हैं. सब श्लोक कंटेस्ट कर सकते हैं. सो व्हाई नॉट वी टेक एडवांटेज? एंड स्पेशली in youth, where there is a lot of time available, lot of energy is available. When the body becomes old, it's not possible. So many problems will be there. So the time that is there now, we take it seriously to study Shastra, to by heart memorize verses, to preach. And of course, not just preaching, but also our own swadhyay, our own bhajan. So Lord Chaitanya made the devotees sit in two lines and pick up all kinds of dirt and said, I shall ask whoever has collected the least to pay a fine of sweets. Which means whoever has collected little dirt, दंड के तौर पर आपको मिठाई खिलाना पड़ेगा. So, in the sense, Mahaprabhu wanted everyone to work. Don't just sit idle. Work, work, work. Prabhupada would say, work now, samadhi later. अभी काम कीजिए, समाधि बाद में ले लेना. Work now, samadhi later. So I shall ask whoever has collected the least to pay a fine of sweets. In this way, all the quarters of Gundicha were cleansed completely, and they were cool and spotless like a clear mind. Lord Chaitanya, as the world Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the original Acharya, world Acharya, Jagat Guru. Through this Gundicha margin was personally teaching how to receive Lord Krishna within the heart that is cleaned of all dirt by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If the heart is filled with straw, grains of sand, weeds, or dust of lust. If the heart is filled with the dust of lust, weeds, grains of sands, or filled with straw and material desires, one cannot enthrone Krishna in his heart. भगवान को विराजमान नहीं कर सकते अपने हृदय में जब इतना कूड़ा कचरा भरा है. पहला कार्य यही है कि हम कूड़ा कचरा को निकाले. और कूड़ा कचरा तब निकलता है जब भगवान नाम जपते हैं और भगवान की सेवा में लगते हैं और भगवान के इस प्रचार आंदोलन में लग जाते हैं. When that is done, then Krishna can be placed in the heart, because by these activities, the heart becomes cleaned. Lord Chaitanya also cleaned the Narsimha temple. He rested a few minutes and then began dancing with the devotees around them and started performing kirtan. He exhibited ecstatic symptoms and shed tears like rain. This is not exaggeration. Our uh, our tears, we find, we cry little, but it doesn't even fill a bucket, right? Kitna bhi roye. Even if someone has departed this world and we are crying in their memory, still एक बाल्टी भर तो रोने नहीं वाले हम. No one can cry so much. But in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, even in Radha and Krishna, we find Mahaprabhu would cry so much. And so many times, Kaviraj Goswami has said this crying would be like torrential rain. Rain, बारिश माने पानी गिरना. But torrential rain माने जबरदस्त बारिश. Like it's heavy rain, really heavy rain. And that's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tears would be. How about pastimes like Prem Sarovar? Prem Sarovar in the land of Sri Vrindavan Dham. It's such a beautiful place. One time Radharani and Krishna were there. And as Radharani and Krishna were there, they were having discussion, and Madhumangal came there. And Madhumangal came there and said, "Oh, Madhu has gone, Madhu has gone, Madhu has gone." And when Radharani heard that, she thought Madhusudan Shri Krishna has left. Actually, Madhumangal was referring to the Madhu honeybee. A honeybee was there between Radha and Krishna. So he drove away the honeybee and the honeybee flew away. So Madhumangal was referring to the honeybee. He said, Madhu has gone, Madhu has gone. But Radharani, in so much ecstatic love, she thought, oh, Madhusudan Krishna has left. And she started crying. Krishna was sitting in front of her and she was still crying. To the extent, imagine you cry when someone is not present. But if someone is present in front of you, will you still cry so much? Maybe not. At least not in the thought that the person has left, especially when he's sitting in front of you. Krishna was sitting in front of Radharani, and Srimati Radharani, in the thought that Krishna has left, started crying. Oh, Madhu has gone, Madhusudan Shri Krishna has left. And she cried to such an extent. There was 70 feet of water, 70 feet, 70 feet of water. That's a lot of crying. That pond or that lake is Prem Sarovar. Prem Sarovar in the land of Sri Vrindavan Dham was formed by the tears, torrential downpour of tears of Srimati Radharani in so-called separation from Krishna. Krishna was not separated. Krishna was still there. But Radharani thought that Krishna has left. Madhu has left. Madhusudan Shri Krishna. Rupa Goswami says this mood of Radharani is called as Prema Vaichitya. Prema Vaichitya is that mood of Radharani when Srimati Radharani, in the presence of Krishna, she feels Krishna has left. यदि कोई व्यक्ति आपके सामने हो और आपको तो भी लगे कि ये व्यक्ति यहाँ नहीं है, इसे बोलते हैं प्रेम वैचित्र्य. But this term is used only for Radha and Krishna. It cannot be used in this world. So Rup Goswami says this Prem Sarovar pastime is nothing but a result of Radharani's Shri Prema Vaichitya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here similarly we see he's crying like torrential rain. He then ordered Sri Gopal, the son of Advaita Acharya, to dance. And while dancing, Sri Gopal fainted in ecstasy and stopped breathing. Advaita took him upon his lap, and other devotees began to cry. Then Lord Chaitanya placed his hand on Gopal's chest and said, Gopal, stand up. Gopal immediately came to his senses, and all the devotees again started to dance and chant. Śrī Caitanya Caritāmṛta ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's preaching movement ki jai. निताय गौर प्रेमानंद